Christmas is obviously a religious time of year. However, it is also one of the busiest times of year for retailers. So, what better segue to talk about making a payment in the metaverse? So, what do we need to know and should.
Yeah, it's a difficult question to answer because the role of Metaverse isn't defined. To kind of jump in with an opinion, we're likely to see traditional payment rails serving as an on-ramp, moving our traditional money into digitally native forms to then be used in the metaverse. And then with those traditional rails positioning as on-ramps, it's very likely that those digitally native payment rails are going to then support the transactions that occur inside the metaverse through, for example, blockchain technology. And it's very active space already. Kind of touched on it before, and I know Axel mentioned as well, Roblox and their currency. I think there's more than $1 billion spent on the Roblox currency, $200 million spent to acquire Minecoin. So we're talking a significant amount of activity and value. We have almost $800 billion worth of stablecoin transactions made. And I think within 1 month, there were $5 billion of NFT transaction volumes on the Ethereum and Polygon blockchains. So, we have those digitally native blockchain technology supporting transactions within the metaverse. And as I say, it's very likely to see traditional payment rails serving as the on-ramp. I think ultimately, payments in the metaverse is going to need 4 key things. You're going to need trust. We need safety, privacy, and ease of use. I think with those 4 things, they're going to be key pillars to the support of payments within the metaverse. And we've touched on digital identity as well. So the role of that will be key in terms of ensuring that the avatar you're about to transact with or who is about to buy from you is actually who they say they are, and that they're going to transact accordingly. But I mean, the whole role of digital identities opens up a number of challenges in terms of custodians of those identities, the role of banks and governments, etc. That's probably a separate and more lengthy discussion.
Thank you, Ramin. And I'd like to talk about a little more those 4 pillars. Maybe we can write a blog or something on that. But that is a brilliant lead in to ask Nick. Nick, you work for one of the most trusted organizations, payment organizations, I should say, globally. What is your take on payments in the metaverse? What we need to do to make payments really happen?
Well, I think MasterCard continues to innovate. We've talked about multi-rail as a core tenet of our business, and we do continue to innovate in all of these different environments and different ways of paying, and MasterCard is very committed to that. How it's going to evolve, I think, is still anybody's guess. I think the world of gaming definitely is a model. I think the technologies that Ramin has mentioned is definitely a possibility. But at the end of the day, there's still a ton of room for innovation. So I think it's probably too early to guess, what is going to happen and what the underlying technologies are going to, win the day. But if you think about the amount of API enablement that has happened in the world of payments, in the world of digital identity, these APIs give us the ability to put any kind of front end that we want on top of that capability. And so if you think about the open banking era as an era of API enablement, that's truly digital enablement. Putting another skin on top of it in the form of the metaverse is just yet another app or another way of engaging with those same capabilities. So the capabilities exist. New capabilities will evolve. the metaverse right now is simply a new application platform to conduct the same kinds of things that we do in both the digital and the physical world.
So a huge opportunity for FinTechs then, who are leading the way with innovation. Thank you, Nick. Axel, how do we make a payment in the metaverse? Could you sort of walk me through it step by step? I've never made one, and I would have loved to have bought my avatar some new gear, actually, to be fair, but didn't know how.
Yeah, I have to state out that the metaverses are still in very early stages, so there isn't a single payment system that's been widely adopted. And however, I mean, most payment systems work either with cryptocurrencies or with normal fiat currencies. So it is very much dependent on the platform. It could be that you attach something within cryptocurrency like a MetaMask wallet to your browser, and you can basically immediately pay out of that. And you can connect a MetaMask wallet, for example, also with a provider who can do the exchange of fiat currencies into cryptocurrencies. Nevertheless, I think a more simplistic example is, again, being inspired on the types of payment transactions when it comes to gaming, because that's going back to the different needs of the payment transactions, because you have things within the gaming realm, like in past DLC, it's downloadable content, so you pay once for something, for an item, or an extension of a game. On the other hand side, there are things like season passes, which are more like a membership payment. And you basically have to pay on a quarter basis for Roblox or for Fortnite and the likes. Nevertheless, something that pops up heavily and has a very different demand, and when it comes to payments, are in-game microtransactions. And again, if you have kids, I'm sure we all bought items for a few bucks actually in Fortnite. So all of that actually needs a very different payment structure, and there has very different payment needs. Lastly, we shouldn't forget also that the types of payments also include buying assets in virtual land. And that could go up to the price of virtual houses or virtual land that is worth the same amount of money as we have in the real world. And that's also so large transaction volumes to buy actually items or assets is also not so uncommon. And that's also something that we should consider.
And we certainly should, because if you also consider the fact that we now have the Gucci Gardens and you can get merch from Coca-Cola, why, Axel, are these big brands going into the metaverse? Why are they investing so heavily into it?
Let me take as an example again Nike with the acquisition of Artifact. Artifact as a company, they created sneakers like as a collectible that were very rare as an NFT and sold for multiple times the amount of real sneakers. Probably Nike acquired them because they can be easily matched with physical goods. So just imagine you buy a specific pair of Nike sneakers and they are attached to an NFT. And that NFT is also showing this is a pair of physical goods that you bought, and by that NFT that is attached to that, it shows that you are the owner who owns those kind of Nikes and so on. So it is again the scarcity point that is interesting. And again, from a brand perspective, you can use the virtual goods also in metaverses and so on and represent the brand. That's definitely something new and has a brand value attached to it.
The brand value is something that really, really, truly intrigues me. So going back to the Gucci Gardens, Gucci, that famous established Italian family, and it has a history all of its own, they are known for their tactile leather goods. They're known for their gorgeous tailoring. How does that work in the metaverse? Ramin, let me ask this question to you. What's Accenture's take? you know, some of these mega brands must be Accenture clients. Why are they investing so heavily into the metaverse?
I think this comes to economic opportunities. You know, we're talking a huge, huge numbers here. We're seeing many big brands, whether they're fashion brands or, I mean, especially technology brands, Microsoft, Meta, TikTok, etc., invest huge amounts of money because they want to maximize their customer demand within the opportunities that this new technology provides, and also especially the reach that this enables. Right, the metaverse enables us to remove the idea of geography, which of course our existing web infrastructure does. Geography, which our existing web infrastructure does, but also provide more of that personal touch, whether that's dressing your avatar or walking through a shop rather than the experience of shopping online at the moment. So fundamentally, I think there are these highly lucrative opportunities, and of course, as the adoption from these global brands increase, so does the popularity of using that technology in the first place. So we'll have this kind of snowball effect as trusted brands lead to customers feeling that the virtual world is safe and familiar.
It's that word again, Axel, isn't it? Sorry, Ramin. Trusted. It all comes back to trust.
Absolutely.